Hello, everybody. We're back with the best podcast to ever be recorded, Transcending the Pond. I'm your host, Jesse, aka Darkness Kirby 2, and I'm here with my good pal, co-host Ziggy Blockley, also known as Thomas D179 from the canceled series BONE. What is up? How are you doing today? What is good?
I am absolutely fantastic. Thank you for
Great to hear.
I'm not so sure about being introduced as a Spartan, but I guess I can deal with that.
Well, I could also introduce you as the guy who sang that song about nightclubs and uploads Winnie the Pooh videos.
Yeah, I'll stick with the Spartan. I think we can go with the Spartan one.
It might be for the best.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. So how you been, Jesse? It's been a while.
I mean, I've been alright. Yeah, it's been quite a while. Been busy doing some YouTube stuff, been busy with school. Had some stressful things going on lately, but it's good. It's been sorted. We're all right, which is why we're doing this now.
Absolutely. Well, there's the reason we kind of have to do it just now, partially, is because college is going to get absolutely crazy for me within the next month or so, and I'm guessing school or whatever is going to be pretty similar for yourself. So,
and the reason we're doing this specific recording right at this specific second is because if we don't do it within a timely time, there may be some banging and hammering going on.
Yeah, out of interest, what is your dad actually hammering on?
We're fixing the. Do you have at the bottom of your walls these they're these border things that kind of stick out at the bottom?
Oh yes, skirting boards.
He's fixing them, yeah.
Oh, what's wrong with them? Are they just coming off the wall, sort of thing?
Well, we took off the old ones. We're putting on new ones.
Oh, easy for some. How the other half live, eh? How the other half live?
What?
I'm here. I'm here crawling through bins looking for scraps.
Oh, don't worry, man. I do that. I do my fair share of that too. It's all right.
It's a recreational thing for
just because you're not living in a broken down shack doesn't mean you're well off.
Oh, believe me, I could be living in a broken down shack within a couple of months, man. So enjoy my dulcet tones while you can.
Yeah, we'll be doing the podcast from your new shack. You got to give a tour on video.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like one of my first blogs where I did the tour of my room all those years ago. It'll be part 2 for that, and there'll be lots of nice natural reverberation within my rundown.
Actually, real quick, while we're speaking of rundown shacks, there was a burned down house near around here that we went to check out. It was pretty interesting. It was deserted.
Is it haunted though? Well, obviously I don't
know,
all that,
but the house was abandoned because it was I don't know. I think it burned down or something. But some of the stuff is still inside. It was too dangerous to go in, so everything's boarded up.
Oh, that sort of thing. There's one kind of close to us as well, and some of it Hannah and her boyfriend Gavin or whatever. They had a crew of 5-6 that wanted to go do the whole stereotypical let's go explore the haunted house. And
I'm not going in there.
No, same.
Who knows what's in there? It could be a raccoon or something. Speaking of which, there was also a raccoon. I was taking a bus somewhere. I think it was a month ago, maybe. But yeah, there was this lady walking down the street, and there's a raccoon in the middle. She's throwing cans at it to try and get it to move. And so the bus driver had to stop and drive her past it.
I have honestly never physically seen a raccoon out with a zoo, ever.
Yeah, well, that one was roaming around.
Where did raccoons come from? Do they come
from
the
wild? They come from the woods.
What woods though? It's not just really.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's where they're supposed to come from, and then they wander their way in somehow. They just wander.
Are they local to Canada though? What areas of the world have raccoons?
Well, I mean, if they weren't local to Canada, there wouldn't be a raccoon just out on the sidewalk.
Yes, well, while I do understand that, Mr. Pedantic, I mean, it's
I can search it up right now, actually.
Well, you may as well. We have the internet.
Are raccoons
You're actually Googling this.
I am. North American.
Is that primarily...
That's helpful. Thank you, Google. Thank you.
And people wonder why Google is declining. It's stuff like that.
It is? I didn't know that, if it is. That's news
I'm back I'm on the Ask Jeeves bandwagon, bro. It's the way
forward,
shit,
man. No, Ziggy, no.
We're going back to 2005 right here. Or no, what was before Ask Jeeves? Alta Vista? It was Alta Vista. Shit, that might have been marginally just before your time, because I started using it. No, no, not Windows Vista.
I was wondering, what are you talking about?
The worst thing.
Based on this picture that I found here that I may or may not show on the screen, it looks like there's a red highlight around North America, including parts of Canada, the US, and Mexico. Yeah. There's a blue area around Germany, something in the Caucasus Mountains, and then there's raccoons in Japan.
But what do the colours indicate? Is blue low concentration, red is hot area, there's lots of them?
Well, I would assume gray would be low concentration, since that apparently is where none of them are. Native range in red, introduced range in blue. So they're native to North America, they were introduced to Germany and Japan. And some in Poland. There's a little speck in Poland. No, that's not Poland. That's Belarus. Never mind. My bad. All those Belarusians are gonna unsubscribe from me now for saying that.
Well, so many of the world's problems have started from Poland. So
of course.
But as Basil Fawlty said, let's not mention the war. But I feel like we're giving too much airtime to raccoons here. Like don't get me wrong.
Oh, I mean, speaking of Germany and Poland, I hear that you're afraid of airplanes and traveling.
Well, I'm looking for the correlation.
He's airplane phobic.
Very much so. No, I have not been on a plane since 9/11. Honestly.
Where'd you go on 9/11? Were you?
No, I have not been on a plane since those events. I wasn't on a plane on 9/11, thankfully.
Well, thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah, well, I felt it needed clarified, but no, I've been obviously to England a few times on holiday with some of the boys and whatever. But
it's your next door neighbor, of course. Why wouldn't you?
But yeah,
that's nothing too special coming from.
Well, exactly.
Scotland.
So that doesn't really feel like going on holiday. That just feels like taking a wee.
That's like me going to the U.S.
Yeah. So exactly. But marginally less travel, but still a pain in the arse. But the reason I am just absolutely terrified of getting on planes, and I'll tell you why, because it's kind of silly. Because I know the odds of dying in a car crash.
Just don't fly into the Bermuda Triangle, and you'll be good.
Well, I wasn't really planning on that.
I mean, it could be fun if you go down there. I'm sure the Caribbean's a nice place to vacation especially now that it's summer.
Yeah, within reason, if I do go to the Bermuda Triangle, you'll be the first to know. But the reason I'm
you'll
so
have to contact me from the future when it teleports you or something.
If it does, I mean, I'd love to move to the future, but to avoid going on a tangent of a tangent, basically,
okay.
Which I'm good at doing.
Yep.
What I have the issue with planes is, even though there's a higher chance of you dying in a car crash and whatever, if a car crash occurs, you're on the ground. There's things you can do to kind of circumnavigate the issue and kind of contain it. Whereas if things go tits up in the air, humans can't fly. I don't know how much Red Bull you can even take in a plane now. So the odds are that you're not going to be able to escape. I've never had the balls to do skydiving or anything, so it's not that I could bring a parachute.
I mean, there's a first time for everything. So if you can just grab the parachute, I'm pretty sure planes come equipped with a couple. So if you just run, shove everyone to the side and jump out, you might be okay.
Well, I mean, if those sort of contingencies were in place, potentially someone could force me to get on a plane with heavy medication. I know eventually, wanting to go into business and whatnot, same as yourself, that I'm going to have to fly because I am not getting the bus to, Belarus or something, as you said earlier on. There's only so many renditions.
No, I think they're building a high-speed train connecting Europe to China. I heard.
Oh, what a great way to spend taxpayers' money, man. Nigel Farage will love that. Absolutely love that one. But no, so long story short, I'm absolutely petrified of planes, but I really do need to go. There's more chance of me getting over my fear of planes than there is my fear of spiders, so at least there's that.
Ziggy, there's a spider behind you.
Oh shit. Nah, it's just my mum. That's cool.
Okay.
Bizarrely, just talking about that, just as a quick anecdote, man, I was round at my mother's yesterday after college, and she's a primary school teacher, and I just happened to be in the house as she was marking a creative writing story of one of her kids who had done a story about an evil spider called Ziggy. And I was like, you are shitting me, man.
You're going to turn into a spider in the future. It's a prophecy.
As long as I'm aware it's going to happen ahead of time. But like the fact of the matter is, Ron Weasley said it best. I think I've said this to you before. It's the way they move. I think it would be more terrifying being a spider, having been a human, knowing that I'd known the solidity of having two legs. All of a sudden, I'm having to try and float about. I've got 8 Air Max.
The knowledge that you'll never go back to what was once there.
Exactly. It's going to be a struggle to get a job. I'm going to have to put 8 Air Max Jordans on in the morning, do 8 pairs of laces, and have to use my legs as my arms, and have a freaky amount of eyes, none of which that will work properly because I assume that my shite eyesight will carry over. So all of a sudden I'll need
put on some shades. No one will ever know.
Yeah, 4 pairs of shades, man, and they've then all got to match. They've got to be the same brand within the same colour scheme. You want to be a trendy spider. It's a difficult way to live, man. So shout out to my.
All you need is a Starbucks and a scarf. On the spider.
Oh man, I was in a Starbucks the other day with a bonnet on. I have never felt so hipster in my life, man. It was a bizarre feeling for someone that spends a large proportion of my time taking the piss out of those sort of people. I felt like a massive hit. It was pot calling the kettle all of a sudden, man. So that was different. But we were there for business.
Ziggy, the most anti-hipster person to ever live, becomes a hipster. Tonight at 10.
Well, it was always going to happen. No, I've definitely not went full hipster. But it was to discuss business stuff. But some of the clientele in Starbucks, man, like people with the loyalty cards and stuff. Don't get me wrong, right? They make good coffee, I guess, if you could even call it coffee. But they make nice enough coffee.
Well, I'm not a big fan of coffee, so I don't really
know
drinker, much about that.
Or?
Well, yeah, tea's all right, but coffee I just can't do.
Nah.
Like I was on a little adventure probably a month ago. I was on an adventure. I was coming home. I was hungry because it was really late and I hadn't eaten since lunch.
Sure.
So I stopped off at a McDonald's.
Ew.
Well, I mean, hey, it was on the way. Something to eat. I didn't know where else to go.
Sometimes,
so I went in there.
Yeah.
I got a coffee because I thought, maybe my dislike of coffee has just been exaggerated.
Wait, hold on. You got a coffee from McDonald's?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, that's not a good sample size. That's not real coffee, bro.
I've had it from other places too, but
have you made yourself a nice coffee from the ground up with the granules? I'm not saying go out and dig the granules, but have a nice
I'm gonna have to hire some people to plant the coffee beans.
On it.
That.
Yeah. If you must, but honestly, until you've had a real coffee, don't get me wrong. There's some types of coffee I don't like.
Right. Anytime if I don't like the coffee, it's just not a real coffee. It's the same argument they use for communism.
Fuck off. I mean, well, that is a point. Wait till you've had a really, really good coffee. I think it will change your mind. I mean, don't get me wrong. I drink green tea most of the time. I mix it up with some coffee, but real coffee is really good, man.
But yeah, that coffee I got was pretty disgusting. So that just reaffirmed.
It's fucking McDonald's. It's fucking McDonald's. That's like saying the chicken out McDonald's. Oh, it's not great, is it really? But then again, the chicken nuggets in McDonald's are probably 1%.
They make good fries. I really enjoy their fries.
Same. I hate myself for it, but they're really good.
Can't deny good fries.
Probably about 500 calories per chip, but they are relatively edible, which is more than can be said for most of the food. But yeah, so obviously I've not been traveling many places out with.
I've done a bit.
Yeah, so where you been off to? Where you been up to? Where?
Well, I mean,
what have you been up to? Rather.
Oh, what have I been up to? Well, I mean, as of right now, nothing too much. But I mean, a couple years ago, I went to England, went to France. Pretty fun. Had a good time. From then, I wanted to see the world, or mostly just the English-speaking Commonwealth, because it's a lot easier, and I have connection with that. But anyways, yeah, I've been to the U.S. a couple times when I was a kid. Maybe 3.
Whereabouts in the U.S.?
To Buffalo and across the river to Detroit from Windsor.
God, what's Detroit like these days?
I haven't been there recently. It was nice when I went there, I think.
No, but when you went, like, was it as
rough? I went to like this car museum.
Obviously, because they used to be like the hub of auto and stuff.
Yeah, it was a Ford thing I went to.
Was it as run down though? Like, obviously, you've not been very recently, but you've been more recently than me, having never been. Is it as run down as they say it is, or?
I can't answer that. I don't think it was run down when I went there.
Shit, like how far back are you talking?
I think that's a more recent development. I was a kid. I was a little kid.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad. Shit.
Fun times. So yeah, and then a couple years ago, I went to France first. I was in Paris for a few days. Then I went to England. I landed in Bristol. Went to Bath for a while, which was very nice. It was kind of a small town. Pretty nice. And then I went to London for a bit.
London is...
Shook hands with David Cameron, Ed Miliband.
Oh my God.
Buddies.
Did you wash your hands? Please tell me you washed your hands for hours.
I never washed that hand again. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm not a Milla fan.
Oh, no. You're not a member of the Milla fandom?
No.
Oh, come on. Have you seen him as Han Solo? Come on.
No, I have not. I didn't know that was a thing.
It started, like, honestly, like, I'm not...
I've seen him kicking protesters and wearing purple crowns, but I haven't seen that.
No, we've all seen the flower crown things. Well, listen,
I'm sure we've all seen the infamous bacon sandwich.
Oh, but, right, come on, right. Listen, I mean, that is a hilarious picture, but listen, I'm not a huge Miliband fan by any means. I prefer him to David Cameron, for obvious humane reasons.
Just for anyone who's wondering, we're talking about the British general election 2015, but we'll come back to that a bit later.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we should get back to that in more detail later on.
But yeah, I went to London. It's pretty nice. I had a good time in England. And then last year, because I couldn't really go to another country, I had to build up my funds first. I went to Ottawa, which is the capital of Canada.
Yep.
Had a fun time. I explored Parliament.
Wow, the Canadian Parliament.
And did a lot of walking around. I got lost in Quebec for a bit, and I found my way out of there.
Went into Quebec, came out more independent than you've ever been. Again, but it looks
It
nice.
just confirmed how awful they are. Rage. I'm just kidding.
It does seem kind of different from the rest of Canada. Like, I mean, I'm saying that as an outsider.
Gee, I wonder why. Maybe that's to do with the fact that they're French?
Oh my God. I hope this doesn't come off wrong because it's kind of generalizing, but I find that French Canadians tend to be, in my experience, which is admittedly small sample size, I find that French Canadians tend to be a lot ruder. Am I wrong? Or
I think that's a general stereotype that goes around.
But
then again, people think French are pretty rude when they go there.
Oh no, the French are. It's not that I don't think the French are deliberately rude. I think they're just kind of to the point, but they're so beautifully cultured that I have to give them a pass. Like honestly,
I think the point is that they just want people to at least try and like immerse themselves in their culture. So when you're purposely not doing it, they probably get a little annoyed.
Yeah, but it's not
that
like
tends to be what it is.
I don't think the layman on the street really has a mandate to get pissed off at a tourist because he's not walking about with a baguette. You know, I think there is like a level where.
Well, no, but they do appreciate like at least trying.
Oh, French culture. Like, I've never been to France, obviously, because you know, I could technically.
I had a taxi driver. He was trying. Like, I don't think like he was I don't think he was very perfect at English, but he was like trying to tell me everything that was like going on and stuff. He was like showing me things out the window. Like, he was trying. He was trying to be nice.
Sure.
So that was nice of him.
Oh, well, you got to make conversation with your taxi drivers, man. Unless it's
of course.
Unless
as long as they speak English, because then there was one that didn't even bother, so we had to show him a paper. So I was like, okay, we're going here. Can you go here? Because he didn't know what we were saying.
It's never ideal. No, I mean the thing is, I do think it would be quite a tedious job being a cab driver, to be honest. Like in Scotland.
Speaking of tourists, I saw this. It was like a show where there's these like Americans that went to Paris, and the whole purpose they were doing like an experiment. They're trying to be as obnoxious as possible to see what people think. So they've got like these George Bush shirts. They've got like baseball caps.
George Bush shirts.
Yeah, like talking in like over-exaggerated Southern accents and being super like rude to everyone.
Oh my god!
So,
and I'm assuming,
but the people got most pissed off were other American tourists.
Yeah, because they're representing them badly and they didn't know.
Yeah, because at one point, like they're at a restaurant, they're like trying to get the waiter over, so they're snapping their fingers, garçon, garçon. You know.
I mean, I do think like it's something. Obviously, we're in a culture where there's social norms and whatnot. Like, I can't. Like, I'm generally quite a polite person, believe it or not, because of my upbringing. So like,
I'd never know. You're such a horrible dude.
I know.
Never know if you're polite.
Don't get me wrong. I'm a monumental prick, man, but I'm a polite one within reason. And I just think it would be fun to completely just ignore social norms and just be really, really rude for a day. But I just don't think I could bring myself to do it. Like, because I always had, like, if I say something rude, I always try and pass it off as a joke, stuff generally, even if I'm semi-serious. But like, just spend 24 hours being generally completely unacceptable, just making people feel awkward, just really, really.
I don't know. You might completely ruin all your relations with everyone.
No, but you wouldn't do it with people you already knew because they knew you were putting on an act because they've known you.
Well, that's the point. How about you take a plane ride down to like Australia and start going around beating people up or something?
Well, two reasons for that. One is the obvious financial ramifications of such an endeavour. Second of all, I am terrified of spiders, and I think Australia is probably the worst place in the world out with the Amazonian jungle.
I wouldn't mind going there. That's on my list of places.
Oh no, I'd love
New Zealand. And
New Zealand, yeah. I mean, Oceania's gorgeous, man. Don't get me wrong.
Like, even South Africa might be nice for a little visit.
So, of all the places in Africa, if you had to choose, you would choose the most predominantly white area of Africa.
Well, there's other places too. I mean, Botswana I hear is pretty stable. So is Namibia. I haven't heard anything bad about them.
That was a good save.
Where else?
That was a good save.
Well, it's true. There's nothing wrong with that.
I don't know.
Although I would, out of everywhere, I would stick with some of the more British places.
Wow, what?
I think that in general they tend to be the more stable ones.
Well, I mean, that's
you can blame the French and the Portuguese for that.
No, I mean that's the thing. In general, a lot of people take the mick out of our culture for being quite straight-laced and whatever, and the fact we've got a dry sense of humour and whatever. But generally, British-run cultures are relatively stable, to be honest. So ones that have British
I hear even
influence.
Nigeria's starting to do better. Like they're building up their economy now.
Yeah, so. There's Nigeria and where else? Oh shit, I don't know if you read the same article as me, but it was Nigeria and there was another African country as well. That seems to, it was Ethiopia of all places. Now I don't know if you.
Well, good for them.
I know exactly, and I mean you're pretty much the same age as me, a little younger, a couple of years younger. So you've probably seen the similar videos like. When it used to be, those big fundraising things, like I used to be quite into them before I realised that half.
I was never really into those because, like, I heard a lot of them like end up being scams that all
Well,
the money
yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
actually go
exactly,
there.
and that's what put me off it as I got older. Where the money went, it just wasn't transparent enough. But back then, I was kind of into it, and a lot of the video segments that are designed to make you feel guilty and make you give your money up. There was always Ethiopia this, Ethiopia that. If you remember Band-Aid, I don't remember it personally, but back in 1984, with Bono singing "Bad" and whatever, everyone's favorite Bono, it's always Ethiopia was the one you think of when you think of African poverty.
Right.
And out with, they were amazing at cross-country running and the Olympics and stuff, but out with that, you associated, whether or not, it's the way things were, when you thought of Ethiopia, you associated it with poverty. So to read that article the other day about their economy being on the up and they're kind of tapping into markets that other people haven't tapped into and stuff, I was just, really happy for them reading that.
I think I heard this somewhere. I don't remember when. This would have been a long time ago. But I heard the reason they were at one point, like, that they did get so poor was because they lost their coastline. Because their coastline broke away and went independent.
What do you mean?
But I'm pretty sure Eritrea... No, it would have been Eritrea.
When you say went independent, you mean like it actually...
Like they had control of it and then it
broke I
away.
thought you meant like it was actually lost to the sea.
But I don't know how they got control of it because I remember Eritrea was an Italian colony, so how did Ethiopia get it after that? Unless there was a war that I missed.
That well-known Ethiopian army came in and stole it, man.
Well, who knows? Who knows? They could conquer everything. We don't know.
They could. They might have low-key been building an army in underground bunkers for years.
I know there was a war with Tanzania and Uganda at one point.
You have them... You know what you would be really good at? See if you went down to the pub, man, and had a pub quiz or something. You would actually be really good for something like that. Honestly,
of course.
Got a bizarre hodgepodge of knowledge. But
well, hey, knowing history can be a good thing, especially when other people don't, and you can use it to hit them and show how how noob they are, for lack of a better word I can think of right now.
My friend, knowledge is power, and you've
like dudes who think Europe invented slavery, even though it's been around since the dawn of time, and that it was being practiced in other countries long before they got involved. Like things like that.
Well, it's good to know. The good thing, that's the thing. The more you educate yourself, the more you realize how ignorant the vast majority of people actually are.
I can't stand that. It's like a curse.
Ignorance in general stuns me. This is
especially looking at Twitter sometimes.
Oh my god, yeah. I have to ask myself, I'm sure you get similar things over there, reality TV and whatnot, right? But
here's the thing I saw recently. There's this black girl on Twitter. I don't remember what it was, how I found it, but she was like arguing with this dude, and she was like, when were white people ever slaves? When? You can't. Like she was arguing, then blocking the guy when he couldn't do anything. Dude, and I'm like, well, under the Roman Empire, under the Mongolians, under
did you actually
the
say
Moors
this
in
to
Spain?
Her, Did you?
I didn't say it. I just think I don't.
You were thinking it. You were
say.
thinking it.
But like, no, I wasn't thinking. I know this stuff.
Fair enough.
Has happened.
No, I'm not denying that, but you didn't say it to her. You were just thinking, "Oh my god, I could demolish you if I really wanted to give you the energy."
Yeah, but I didn't want to get involved.
No,
good point. Because people like that don't listen.
Exactly, they've made their viewpoints up ahead.
They've made their point up. And they're gonna defend it to the death.
Well, that's the way it is. And the thing is, they talk about. It's not even that. They are so used to within their own circles talking about such non-issues that when they do try and talk about a wider issue, they come off really stupid on it because they haven't educated
tends to come off very American-centric.
Yeah, and it's not even that because there are some very, very intelligent people in America, but America by default, just because of the amount of people there and because of the way the country is set up, there seems to be proportionately more stupid people, but that's obviously the way it's portrayed to us in the media, you know what I mean? I think if... again, proportionately, you'd probably find more genius level people in America than Britain simply because there's more people,
Yeah, probably. There was a quote that said there would be more English people in the U.S. than in England. That was way back in the day, but that was a quote that someone said.
Wait, say that again?
I'm paraphrasing, but he said, one day there will be more English people in the United States than in England.
I don't agree with that, but it's an interest.
No, that was a quote. That was from maybe the 1800s.
Yeah, I was gonna say that must have been a long time ago because we're definitely that's definitely not happening anytime soon. But but I was thinking just one last point on the kind of issue of ignorance and education and whatever. One thing I was thinking the other day, is it true? And this is not hypothetical. I actually don't know this for a fact, but as far as I'm aware, is 100 the average IQ? What is the average IQ?
Average? Oh, I looked at this. I think 120 or 110 was the average.
So it's see, that seems about right because I thought 100 was a wee bit low. But even at even say it's 110, right? 110 is not bad by any means, right? And
all right.
And also you can be very street smart and not be very academic and whatnot. So it's
right. So like you could take a test, doesn't mean you'll like
so
it won't be exactly,
but
because you might know some things more than other things.
Absolutely.
And some things might be more helpful.
Or you could,
so you don't know that.
The left and right side of your brain could be very balanced one way or whatever. But at the same time, if the average is 110, that means that 50% of the world is dumber than that, man. Like, some people, honestly, like, I was talking about this with my mum yesterday when I was down, and I was like, some people have, like, 70, 80 IQs. Like, do they realise how stupid they are? Or, like, are they that stupid they're not aware of it? Is it a kind of chicken and egg thing? Like, how could you be so, like, ignorant and stupid?
I mean, some people just, like, they just don't know
any better.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't want to sound like an arrogant, condescending asshole here.
I'm happy to sound like an arrogant, condescending asshole because
like, I don't want to think that I'm enlightened and everyone else is dumb or anything like that.
Oh no,
I'm sure there's a lot of people smarter than us.
No, I don't know about that. I heard that maybe Stephen Hawking's about the same level.
Maybe if we're lucky.
Yeah, I mean, if we're being nice to him, you know what I mean. He's a little slower these days in his old age. But if we look at it like,
yeah, I hear he's voting Labour.
He is voting Labour bizarrely. Like, I mean, I'm fine with that. I'm not a Labour voter, but I'd obviously rather them than Conservative. We'll get onto that later. But yeah, the great Stephen Hawking is apparently voting Labour. Although they could have just been playing about with his programme and he could be a Tory.
Yeah, maybe they just typed something in and made it sound like he said
it. For all we know. But yes.
All conspiracy.
Well, speaking of Labour have coming out with some new policies towards business. And
as well as kicking people while they're down. Literally, I'll put the picture up on the screen.
Yes, for the record, you can make your own minds up if this is true or false.
It might be real, it might not, who knows.
And whether or not you think that's true or false will kind of fall into...
Here's a picture of a bacon sandwich.
Yes. So the picture you're about to see of Ed Miliband kicking the person, whether or not you think that's true or false, will kind of fall into our conversation earlier about IQs. So let us know what you think about that. And the bacon sandwich.
It's always good to do some independent research.
There we go, exactly. All the research, educate yourself, education. One of the few things I can still quote from Tony Blair that doesn't make me want to vomit in my mouth. Yeah, that's what I was going to say, just kind of...
That's because you already did enough of that when you first heard it, I'm sure.
Yes, yep. So, yeah, just kind of segueing a little, not to get dragged down in politics, it was just Labour had a kind of policy lately regarding business, which we can talk about later on, but just talking about business in general, that's been one of the...
Business in general?
Yeah.
Okay. So I hear you've been on a business adventure.
Well, it's not so much an adventure.
Actually, what is that? Why did we write that? I don't even remember.
Well, you wrote it because I told you to write it, and I call the shots.
Probably.
I call the shots around here, son.
All right, you wrote one topic, I wrote the rest. There we go.
But look at that topic and tell me who has the better handwriting on
Well, I think number 4, why Canada is better than Scotland, is much better than that topic.
Well, we'll put that one to the gallery and we'll get...
But enough of the meta talking about the topics. Let's actually discuss your business adventure.
We're breaking the fourth wall here, Jesse. I cannot deal with this. So it's not so much a business adventure as it is adventures, but it's part of the reason, like, obviously me and Jesse's last podcast was... When was it? It was a Scottish referendum, right? It was about then.
About then.
I've not really watched it because it was bloody...
I think it was beforehand, so we never got the reaction of you losing.
Yeah, and that I have had several months to calm down, and even now it probably... we'll maybe get back on.
Well, hey, a quick word on that.
Yes.
Is there anything that the government could possibly do that would get you to switch from yes to no? Like, at all? Like, if anything they could give you, anything they could do, anything they could set up?
At one point... There was, but I would feel like I don't...
Because, like, you can't just be yes for the sake of it. Like, there's got to be something you want out of it.
Well, to a point, right? There was a time when I was a little more on the fence, maybe 2012 or whatever, and I was more open to it, but it would take more than a promise or a bribe or we're going to do this or whatever to make me sway. Now, at first I was a yes voter because of economic reasons, the belief in the country, of this reason, of that reason, of whatever reason. I could go into detail if you wanted me to, but I understand we don't have all day. But now I am totally of the belief that a country should, in black and white, very basic layman's terms, before we bring in the economic arguments and the cultural arguments, a country will run itself better when it actually runs itself. So now I am, barring absolute disaster that would 100% mean chaos for an independent Scotland, I am just a yes supporter on the basis that before we bring into the other agreements that I think prop up my argument and the Yes campaign's argument, just based on the black and white that I think a country should run its own affairs, I'm pretty much I don't want to say yes for life. I'm never 100% on anything, but I'm 99% on it. And that's part of the reason I'll be voting SNP, not for a second referendum, but just to make sure that what we thought we were going to get from independence, we can try to get a bit of that from the Westminster system and also make it fairer to the rest of the UK. But that's kind of generalised talk.
Right. I still support the no side and them staying together. Although I think it should. I still think you're right that they should do what they can to make it better for Scotland.
Yeah, well,
But I still like them to stay in.
Well,
with cultural reasons and whatever else.
Well, at the end of the day, listen. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of no supporters I could never really look in the eye because of.
Well, I mean, we're talking through the internet, so you don't have to look me in the eye.
And thank God for that. But listen, when it comes to it, a lot of no supporters and a lot of yes supporters made their views clear in a really bad, really poor way. They just didn't announce it.
The Yes-Stapo ran around on Twitter.
The Yes-Stapo were a bit of an embarrassment, if we want to call them that. Some of the no voters were just very ignorant, I'm all right Jack types. But for someone like yourself, who were on different sides of it, you made your points very concisely. I wasn't as led.
I think we'd both want what's best. We just have different ways of saying it.
Exactly. I mean, you were more driven by the kind of cultural aspect. I was more driven by the moving to the future instead of the past, and the economic arguments could have kind of been made either way. But at the end of the day,
well, hey, sometimes you can take good things from the past.
I absolutely, and that's why I'm so interested in history, and I'd wager it's why you are as well. But we got a no vote. It was really gutting. I was crying the next morning. I woke up. No, I'm not gonna lie.
I was listening to Rule Britannia that night.
Oh my God, I hate everything about you. I shed manly tears that night. Just as soon as we realised, I can't remember. I think it was the 7th or 8th constituency, not constituency. Well, what would you call area? I can't remember what we were calling it for the referendum, but maybe it was constituency. But by the time we lost the 7th or 8th, and with only one Dundee, I think by that point I realised that the tide was against us. And there was just this feeling in the room, like we'd been at the Yes Bar, we'd been at a couple of pubs, there was a few of us, and we went back to this girl's house who came from, I was about to say she came from Gayland, because she speaks Gaelic. She came from the north of Scotland, showing my cultural knowledge there. As she was showing her, so we went back to hers, and she's very into all that, and we were just sitting there as a group. And there was just this kind of realisation.
Collectively crying.
Well, we weren't collectively crying because it was like 5 a.m. at this point, and half of them had passed out from too much buckfast. But at that point, we were just sitting there, and it was just the realisation. It dawned on us, like, we're not getting it, man. It's not happening. And it was a really, really rough half an hour. But I mean, one last thing I will say on the referendum, and we'll leave it there.
I've got one more thing to add too after you're done.
No, I didn't say 2 more things. One more thing, which
I'm saying 2 more things, and I'm the boss here, so what I get counts.
Well, the jury's out on that, so we'll go 1 and 1 here. We'll call it a draw. So the one last thing I will say about the referendum is that I feel Alex Salmond, being divisive as he was, I personally like him, but I understand very well why people don't. I feel that if Nicola Sturgeon had been the leader during the referendum, I think we would have just narrowly got the victory, because she would have appealed more to women. It sounds bizarre, but women do appeal more to women. That's just, there's some science behind that.
Well, it should be based on policies, not who the person is.
Yes, but the policies would have been the same, but Nicola Sturgeon pisses off less people when she does them. She's got the common touch a lot more than Salmond does. Salmond's got the common touch more than a lot of Westminster politicians, but I feel Nicola Sturgeon has it even more so. She's the only politician that can float about without bodyguards, and just generally, because the people on the whole...
Well, that's because the area she tours are supportive of her.
That's not necessarily true. I mean, for the most part, yes, because more and more areas are SNP, so you'd be difficult to find.
I mean, she can walk around Scotland. That's fine. When Nigel Farage goes, he's getting hit on the head, and he needs bodyguards, and he gets locked in a pub for his safety.
Well, we can get on to UKIP later, and I actually do like Nigel Farage. I'm not huge on UKIP, but I like Farage, and we can talk about that.
I'm pretty big on them. That's the big shocking reveal. Now I've lost all my support and subscribers.
Yep, Jesse is a massive fascist, and you have to, when you subscribe to him, you need to know that you're supporting the work of Adolf Hitler.
They're actually the most democratic party of all. They want more local issues. They want more local democracy in the country. To not be controlled by an undemocratic fascist European Union government.
Listen, the people don't need to listen to your racist fascist diatribe any longer. Listen, Jesse, every time you subscribe to a channel like Jesse's, you're supporting fascism and the rise of Adolf Hitler's
Every time you subscribe to Ziggy, you're just supporting communism and state-sponsored SNP Gestapos.
Touche.
But that's all bullshit about about fascism and racism.
No, I'd agree with that.
It's people who don't like them trying to do anything they can to discredit them.
But what I would argue about UKIP, and we do kind of pull this back onto business somewhat, but one thing, my last point on the referendum, you also had the last point on the referendum, I'll finish. My last point on the referendum was I think we lost 55-45. I think we would have narrowly, at most, got 52, maybe still slightly lost, but I think it would have been closer with Sturgeon. And on the point of UKIP, I think it's the people that support them that let them down. It's not the actual policies of the party, which actually are nowhere near.
I mean, they have a lot of
regular
supporters too. No, it's no different than any other party. Like every party's gonna have people who support them or that you probably rather not.
Yes, but because of what UKIP represents,
you've got child predators who vote Labour.
Yes,
or so I hear. So I mean,
well, you've got child predators.
That doesn't automatically make them the party of child predators.
I agree. So that's the thing. I think UKIP get they get the short end of the stick sometimes in that respect. But and I think for
the same way, people like to hold up people who've done dumb or said stupid things as like representative. But I mean, it's it's not more than any of the other parties have done. And compared to I'd say estimate maybe about 200 to 300 people have been kicked out over stupid things out of a party of over 44,000 people. I don't think that's much of a problem. I think the media would like it to be more of a problem than it actually is.
I agree, and I think I think Farage has actually done a very good job of being more vigilant about kicking the people out. He's been clear about it, he's been concise about it, and he's done it, and he's backed it up. So credit to him there. But just before,
if only they'd replace David Coburn.
Oh my God! And my brother will say the same. For the record, my brother Ewan Blotley, love him to bits. 99% of the time, he's occasionally a wanker, but that's what brothers are about. And he'll say the same about me. In fact, I doubt he would even give me 99%. But yeah. So my brother is potentially going to be standing for UKIP in Scotland down the line, and I
wish him luck.
Thank you very much, and I wish him the best of luck as well.
Maybe by 2020 they'll have made the case in Scotland and have some support.
I don't see it, and I think that someone with his auditory talents,
if the SNP gets in and they completely screw up,
I hope not,
in government, then the vote will collapse. I think some of the people voting SNP right now, some of the guys who just want what's best, I think if the SNP wasn't getting so much momentum, they'd probably be with UKIP right now for the same reasons.
I disagree. I think
some of them, not all of them, but I think some of them would.
A small percentage who are looking for a party of protest potentially, but SNP.
I think they can get I think they can get 10% in Scotland.
I think that's it's doable. I think they'd be very lucky to get 10% because I think
just as long as they beat the Lib Dems.
Yeah, well, I think I could beat the Lib Dems if I registered tomorrow. To be honest with you, I mean, they're just totally irrelevant now, and it's a shame, but it's not. It's totally of their own doing. But anyway, before we get too bogged down in politics, before we really should be talking about politics, you had that last point on the referendum, and then we'll speed it right.
Oh yeah, if you remember off recording, so before we started, I said that when I don't watch political wise, when I don't watch the actual live results. If it's like an election or something, the party I support tends to do better. So that comes from on the local. I think it was like the day before the European election results. The day before, I watched the local elections, and I remember UKIP didn't do as well as they were hoping. And then so I didn't watch the actual live results of the European election, and they ended up coming first place and winning.
Well,
since then it seems to have stuck. I didn't watch the Scottish referendum live coverage, and the no side ended up winning. And then on my Ontario provincial election, I think I was following some coverage of it, like on I was following it on the radio because I was going somewhere at the time, and then the Conservatives ended up getting blown out, and the Liberals won a majority just by securing Toronto.
Beautiful.
Even though, the rest of the province didn't vote for them.
Absolutely.
Even though they're scandal ridden, and yeah.
Well, what is politics without a little scandal, huh? But
it's well known that they're corrupt as hell.
Oh no, I think we should start supporting corruption. I think it's all about the 1%, and the more we kick the poor when they're down, the better. But no.
Then again, it's a shame that the Conservative leader wanted to go on a campaign of cutting 100,000 jobs.
Well,
I think he screwed that one up.
That is generally the mandate Conservatives rule on, though, is condensing the state and whatnot. And the only reason. But
after however many years of corruption, people wanted them out. But even though I think the vote, the percentage wise, it wasn't actually they weren't that far behind, but seat wise they got blown out.
Yeah, that's just to do with
a lot of second places.
Well, what's likely is it'll probably be similar in Canada to the way it is here. The boundaries tend to benefit certain parties. So for within Westminster just now, within Westminster UK-wide elections, the boundaries benefit Labour. So Labour.
Well, in Toronto here, in Ontario, Toronto has a lot of constituencies, and they're very, very liberal, which is the equivalent of the Lib Dems. Obviously, Liberal Democrats, that's where it comes from, the Liberal Party. So, yeah, it tends to favor Toronto, because then the rest of the province can vote someone else, but you can still get a very, very, just from Toronto voting a certain way, we'll get a very, very large amount of a certain party.
Basically what you're saying is the same as Manchester and Birmingham and the inner boroughs of London being very heavily Labour. There's a lot of seats there, so yeah, it kind of works out like that. But to your point earlier, there's two options. You're either Mystic Meg and you haven't realised it yet, and you have some sort of magical effect on the election, or you're being very selective in your data. Because,
I think I'm just being a little superstitious there.
Yeah, probably a little bit, but
I wouldn't mind watching the 2015 coverage, but I have an exam the next day, so I won't be able to anyways. So maybe we'll get a UKIP majority of 50%.
Well, hopefully not, but I don't think there's been an actual. Any party's got over 50% for since 1920 or something. But what a beautiful segue this is, because the reason I'm not going to be able to stay up on May 7th is because I have a business meeting on the 8th.
Oh, we're going back to this, yes.
Well, we're going back to a topic we never got to broach properly. Yes, we are indeed. But more about politics. No, but listen, in terms of business, it's just what you said earlier, adventure. And right there was, we both embarked on an adventure in how to go into a tangent for 20 minutes. But the adventure, business-wise, basically, I've always been interested in the business side of things. From when I was young, just watching things like Dragon's Den, to want to just control my own finances, right? I mean, you want to control your own finances, right?
Of course.
I mean, to an extent, you kind of already do it through the YouTube thing. I don't want to go into details, but you create the content, and therefore you make money from it. It's a small percent, and then you look at the cut YouTube takes and whatever, and that's a kind of intro into business.
Well, who wouldn't want to make money off of just uploading videos, right?
There we go. Is it, if you can do it and you have the talent for it, which you do, then why would you not do it? So it's a kind of introductory sequence to business, and then you see how the big corporates work. You see YouTube taking whatever it is, 60% of your thing, and you think, why are they taking that percent? How are they? And you look into it through that, and then that leads you to the next thing, and all of a sudden you're into business. It could work like that, or it could be a far deeper desire to make social change, or to just create. You might have a problem in your life that no product is solving, and you want to create that product. So there's a million and one ways you can get into it. For us, I've always had the interest at the back of my mind. I wanted, I've always been kind of aware of the marketing side of things way back when I was blogging. Please don't check them out. With all the other stuff that I did way back when, I was always kind of aware of the marketing angle, but that was kind of before social media took off. So I didn't really know what to do with it. It was a pre-Twitter time, really. So, and the upload dates on that, back up those claims. All
right, that's cool.
But looking at it, I was always had an interest in the market, in the business, whatever. So this year in college, it's my second year doing sound production at college to get my diploma, and we got asked to do a business plan that was relevant to our industry. So all of a sudden we were being forced to do this. Now most people really didn't enjoy it or whatever, but to me it was a good thing, because all of a sudden all the information that I'd taken from various sources over the years, I had to put them all together and actually come up with something feasible that was going to make me money within the industry that I wanted to be involved in. So it was like a jump start, okay, you've got to do this now. And all of a sudden I thought, well, it's about bloody time I did it at 21 anyway. And it's just a shame that our business teacher was such a monumental bellend. Shout out Mick Slavin. So,
okay then.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean, you're never going to meet him if you're lucky. Just imagine it.
Well, I don't know. Maybe on my possible trip to Scotland, I might run into him.
You'll either meet him in Scotland or you'll meet him in Purgatory, man. One or the other. I mean, imagine a business...
Was he dead?
Inside, yes. Imagine a business teacher who doesn't teach business, and that's Mick Slavin for you. And then...
what does he teach?
I don't know what he thinks he's teaching, but apparently he teaches business, but all he does is repeat the same 3 anecdotes again and again and again, and tries to pass that off as, divulging knowledge. And I'm just sitting there trying to get to the facts of the argument, knowing that I'm probably boring my classmates, but you know what, I'm going to help you out, let's make some money. and he just references the same Volvo commercial from years ago. Like, yes, I mean, there's so many options for music in the industry. I mean, you could get your song on an advert, for example, back in the...
I never knew that.
Yes, oh, thanks, Mick. Never knew that one, boy. And you look back and it's like, yes, I mean, go back to this Volvo commercial in the 80s, actually. Yes, well, they put a track and it made them several million. So really, there's so many avenues within the industry to make you money, right? Class dismissed. And you're just sitting there like,
all right, so
nigger,
something
what?
about business here. You're learning business. You got a professor who doesn't know what he's doing. So where's this going?
So, where it's going, hopefully, is to the Billionaire Boys Club. But as it is,
well, then you're gonna have to get half your income taxed off in your world, in your perfect world.
Well, not my perfect world, but 45% I'd be fine with. But anyway, so no, we're looking at the moment. Starting, I have to kind of be coy about what I say here, which means I'm going to talk a lot and say not much, which is kind of my forte anyway. Really should.
Well, let's just try to make this a little quick. Try and summarize the point. Summarize the story. What's the main points of the story here? What's the moral?
Patronizing me. Listen, the moral of the... Well, there's not a moral of the story, really. It's just to kind of look out for...
the moral of the story?
What?
When Ziggy starts talking, you better listen.
Yeah, fucking right, man. Listen, the fact is, as I eat my oatmeal cookies...
I disagree with it, though, so I'll write an essay on why that's wrong.
Yeah, so basically, it's we've got the copyright for it now, so I can say it's an audio production company called Next Chapter Audio. There's 1,000,001 reasons for that. I really should have my business plan up to explain it, but basically had to do a real business plan. A few people in the course are in on it. We're creating it. We offer recording facilities, songwriting facilities, producing facilities, remixing facilities, and we're also looking at a gaming division just now, Next Chapter Gaming, which is going to cover the app market. And we've basically got...
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and we've got... I mean, it just sounds like generalised terms I'm picking from a tree just now. Like, yeah, we're going to take over the world. But all of this is pretty much...
You probably got a thesaurus open?
I always have a thesaurus open, man. But it's one of those things, like, it's all fully costed at the moment. We've looked at our financial plans for it. All the boring stuff that I'm going to not bore you with, but the finances all make sense. The business model makes sense. And at the moment, it's the fun bit, and we're just trying to sort the creative aspects. Put it all under one umbrella corporation. Social capitalism, which is my ideal view of the world, make a hell of a lot of money but help people with it, and kind of just keep it all under one umbrella corporation for tax reasons, and hopefully go into app gaming and into music production and actually make some bloody money out of it, because
cool.
Yeah, that is a 7-minute version to say what I could have said in 1 minute.
I'll have to cut all that down to like 30 seconds. So
you will be unable to do that with
you doubt my abilities. I'll probably just leave it alone.
Yeah,
but you mentioned gaming earlier. So have you been playing any games recently? I know you used to. We used to play Minecraft together and do a series. But
yes,
that was actually my favorite Minecraft series we ever did. Well, I ever like in general on my channel.
So why did we?
It's a shame we had to stop that.
So why did we stop it, Jesse? Why did we stop it?
Because I don't use my 360 anymore, and you didn't want to get Minecraft for the PC to continue it.
Or was that the actual reason? Alright, my bad.
I think that was the actual reason.
See, I was saying that, trying to lead you onto a path of self-destruction there, only to find out it probably was my fault, so...
No, I think it was something like that. Like, the fact that we stopped playing 360 and stuff, and then I moved on to the Xbox One, so that was unhooked now, and you'd have to get an Xbox One and Minecraft for that to play to do the series then at that point.
Well, I do apologize, because that was a fun series to do. I was generally learning.
Because I remember asking you, and you said you didn't want to do that. So I mean, I can't force you.
Well, I just
maybe
felt,
in the future we'll find a way to do something.
And I think we definitely should collaborate in some sort of gaming video in the future. And thank you to everyone that ever watched Hunt for Azared, man. It was.
I currently only have like 2 games.
What have you got?
I'm on console. I have some PC games, but on console I have Destiny and Battlefield Hardline.
Oh god, is Hardline any good?
It's better than the other ones. I mean, I was never a big fan of the other Battlefields because it felt like it's a running simulator. Run around for like 10 minutes and you get shot.
I agree, man. You know, I get shot
by
down
a sniper.
I get shot down for saying that all the time about Battlefield. I think it's good, man. It is a good series.
It's a well-made, but it's just it's not the gameplay style like. But this one I think is a lot more action, like faster action and stuff. The only thing is, with this one, is I'm at a part in the campaign where I died, and it's broken. The save point is broken, so I can't play the game anymore unless I restart the mission.
Well, you have to think, man, these companies, if they took maybe a couple of million out of advertising and maybe QA'd their what do you call it when you quality control? QC'd their games a little better.
PR control?
Well, they try and do PR control without QCing, and then that's the issue, because they're using advertising money to cover up money they could use to fix the fucking issue, which then they wouldn't have to use the advertising money. But
of course.
But apparently that's lost on these people. So So maybe us peasants just don't understand the ramifications.
Yeah, but yeah, I think this is a good Battlefield game. I'm not going to get... I think they're making Battlefield 5. I'm not going to get that if it's based on Battlefield 4. That one was also massively broken. It's true, I'm sorry.
I heard they fixed that, though.
Eventually.
Which, I mean,
recently,
yeah,
I think.
which is a bit of a joke.
At least it wasn't as broken as the Master Chief Collection. That's still broken to this day.
Oh my god, man.
That was a disappointment. I'm glad I didn't buy that,
I was going to get an Xbox One for the Master Chief Collection because I don't know if you remember, but way back, like, we had the Stormier clan way back in Halo 3 2007 and stuff, and
good times.
Oh, great times, man. Best FPS of all time in my
I was not a part of the Stormier clan. I was a part of my own Darkness Kirby 2 clan.
Yeah, which didn't take off for a reason. But no, listen.
Well, I mean, I had an unofficial clan called the Toilet Clan back in Halo 3 where we all used toilet emblem. So
well, I mean, while I wish I was part of that bastion of maturity, I'm kind of I'm kind of glad we did our own thing. But no, two of the guys that we had that clan with, we've also got a montage. If you search Stormier montage 2009, it's produced on
nice shilling there, nice shilling for your clan.
Absolutely, and it was produced on Windows Movie Maker and has Black Eyed Peas Boom Boom Pow as the background, and it's the only montage where the guy who made it, me, put himself in the montage wearing shades. So it's unbelievable.
I can just imagine like there's some gameplay going, you're sniping some people, and then some really badly green screen Ziggy comes on the screen, starts dancing.
It's actually
as the shots are going on.
It's actually
with shades or something.
It's really not far from that. By the way, you need to see it with your own eyes. It's fucking dreadful. But anyway, so long story short, two of the guys that I used to be in the clan with, still good mates of mine from way back primary school, Alan and Michael, Alan and Stormier Python respectively, they got an Xbox One for Destiny and Master Chief Collection, and they have been let down because...
I think everyone who's bought that game has been let down by now.
How can you fuck it up like that? Like, honestly, what other games have 343 got in their stable that was maybe taking resources away? I mean, I'm not in the industry, so you know what?
Well, I mean, they made Halo 4, but even that wasn't really that great,
I mean,
in my opinion.
Again, I honestly think all it would take is a group of however many amazing programmers it takes to make these AAA games, whether it's 40 or 400, I don't know, right? But you keep the same amount.
And I'm not even really looking that excited for Halo 5 either.
Same. I mean, it looks good, but it
looks like an Advanced Warfare clone with a Halo skin.
No, but I think it'll be interesting. I'm definitely going to give it a shot. Whether or not I buy an Xbox One for it, I don't know. Maybe a few.
Well, you'll have to let me know what you think of it when it comes out.
I will absolutely. Could maybe do a wee review of it or something like that. But talking about the choices they make, like, what I don't understand is if you're a AAA title with hundreds of millions in your bank for advertising or whatever, and you know Halo is a massive title. This is not some upcoming title where you can get away with, you know, building the brand for the DLC and stuff. Like, you're only launching with 5 maps. This is Halo 4 at launch.
Yep.
You launched with 10 maps rather. 5 for big team, 5 for small team. Only one of which you can, for Team Slayer.
The big team only had like one playlist, anyways.
Yeah,
so
there was no objective modes in big team, and you've got 10 maps split between 2 playlists, with only the Valhalla remake Ragnarok being able to be in both. So you've got a really small map choice. And then what it ended up was, it wasn't Big Team Battle or Team Slayer, it was, do you want to play on Haven or Exile? That's how it became after like a month.
Haven hands down the only good map.
Well, yeah, exactly. The problem was, like, on one hand...
I love that map was a really good map.
It was a great map, but it wasn't as good as Guardian, it wasn't as good as Blackout, it wasn't...
I think it was inspired by Guardian, but even so, I think it'd be up there, like... If there was of the memorable maps from Halo 4, that'd be like my number one choice.
But you think about how simple it really is when your only memorable map is a kind of mediocre arena map.
Well, I mean, I guess that's what people like. That's what people want.
Listen,
like the simplified maps were some of the best ones in Halo 3 as well. Like the pit, symmetrical, 2 sides.
Listen, Pit and Guardian were my 2 favourite maps on Halo, right? I love the big team stuff in the vehicles, but I prefer the arena combat, right? So I am the demographic that prefers maps like Haven. It was the best map in the game, but that's the best of a bad bunch, man. I didn't think it was great. I thought there was some good big team maps, but they never got picked. XL was a good map.
I think Valhalla, even the Valhalla remake, was ruined by the Mantises. They were too overpowered.
Don't get me wrong, I was that guy that was in the Mantis being an absolute cunt, but at the same time...
I'd never get it. Someone else would always steal it.
Yeah, there was always a mad rush for the Mantis, and then the loser just got...
Maybe if it didn't have energy shields, it would have been a little more fair, because, like, I don't know. There's something about it. Was just too powerful.
I see what they were trying to do with the Mantis, and I don't think it was a bad inclusion, but I think Ragnarok or Valhalla, whatever you want to call it, Coagulation, just basically that same map, it's too open for a vehicle like that that's got the range and the power like that. It was too open, and it just they would just camp the what they call the the lifts, God, it's been too long. The
man
cannon,
cannons?
shit.
Get your shit right, man.
Fuck, dude.
How can you forget? Those were like iconic.
Oh man, the man cannons on Narrows. I used to camp by them with dual wielding SMGs.
Gotta throw grenades over. That's what you do. Throw stickies.
No, but they used to we thought that was a good tactic when we got Halo 3. We used to throw stickies, but I'm sure that frags used to explode in midair sometimes and shit. I don't know.
No, that's if someone shoots them, because you could shoot a grenade and it would explode.
Yeah.
I did that once. I was on Octagon with a friend. We were doing a 1v1, and he threw a sticky grenade, and I sniped the grenade. And he was like freaking out, like, "Whoa, did you just?" Because I was also like wrecking him, so he thought obviously I was like really good at the game.
But was this Halo 3? So, what was?
Actually, I think that was Reach, but you can shoot grenades in Halo 3 also.
Yeah, no, I know you could do it in Halo 3 because we used to grenade jump and we used to brute shot jump and all that. Like Guardian was the best. Like the amount of spots we used to know on.
Yeah, brute shot jumps were fun.
Oh my god, mate! The brute shot was such an underrated weapon, man. It was like a one-shot beatdown. But it's because you took damage as well.
So was the Mauler. I missed the Mauler.
The Mauler was so wanky.
Especially like the knife on it.
Like honestly, see when you saw an elite with a Mauler, you just thought you were a prick, mate. Like don't get me wrong. We used to play as elites sometimes because they were really funny and goofy looking. We used to just like float about.
It's hard to get headshots on them.
Yeah, they were annoying for SWAT. Like, listen, I played as an elite for SWAT, but you shouldn't have.
I did that too.
But you shouldn't have been able to. That was a case of just if you can't beat them, join them. But you shouldn't. You should not have been able to play as an elite in SWAT. That was silly.
You can headshot them straight on. Nope, body shot doesn't count.
Oh my god, I miss being able to play as elites, man. I say that now though. I forget how annoying it was in Halo 3, to be honest.
Well, I mean, in Reach, at least, like in Reach, they had better stats than the Spartans, so that wouldn't have been very fair.
Well, how were elites implemented in Reach? Oh, it was Invasion, wasn't it?
It was Invasion, and in some playlists.
Oh my god, remember Invasion?
You could play as them.
Shit, I forgot all about that. When did Reach even come out? 2010, right?
Yeah.
Shit, man, that's like the era of like 2010, 2011 is like the era of my life I've got like the least recollection of. Smoked a lot of weed, man.
But like, yeah, there was Invasion. You can play some Slayer playlists with them, and then there was custom games where if you set it to an elite, you were an elite.
But then the problem with Invasion, if I remember correctly, was there was only like 2 maps, right? There weren't
very many maps, which was unfortunate. I like that playlist. A lot of the maps ended up being like Forge World maps, and then there weren't very many maps anyway, so they relied on Forge World, and they all look the same because they never released any Forge World DLC or anything.
I remember. That was
that would have been why didn't they do that? Why didn't they release? Here's Desert Forge World. Oh, here's Arctic Forge World, so you can get some variety in the maps at least.
I mean, it might have been. I don't know. It might have been a technical limitation back then, but then even in Halo 3, there was different kind of stuff per map. I don't know. Like, it was a weird.
Like in Halo 3, every DLC had a new Forge map on it. They had Avalanche was good for Forge, and then you had Sandbox.
Yeah.
That came
Foundry out on the heroic map.
Foundry started it.
Oh my god, man! I made so many good maps on fucking. No, it wasn't Sandbox. No. What was the indoor place? Oh, that was Foundry. Sandbox because there was like the crypt.
Oh yeah,
it was the crypt.
Yeah.
You. Oh my god, man! I had the best map.
I had an infinite money map on there. It had like at the top there's just a pile of every object on the map, just pile it on into the corner, and then it would somehow let you do infinite money.
I seem to vaguely remember you having that. Did we know each other back then? In fact,
we did not know. No, we didn't. It might have been the same map that we found.
Yeah, probably. When did we? Was it Halo Reach? Oh no, it was Bungie.net because you sent an advert. Because
I needed a voice actor for that trailer.
And I was on Bungie.net trolling people. And then, mate, oh my god, someone sent me my post history to Bungie.net the other day.
You know what we could do for the next show?
Tell me.
We can talk about how Bone would have ended if we kept going.
I'm actually intrigued myself because I'm actually not sure where it would have went. To be honest,
I'm not gonna tell you right now.
Give people
maybe next time.
Maybe next time. I'm totally fine with that. I mean, it's funny enough. I had not watched the Bone.
Here's a hint. It would have been a happy ending.
Just blew my ears off with that volume.
Whoa! I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to.
My ears are back on. Right, on you go.
Okay. I said here's a hint. It was gonna be a happy ending.
Aw, did Thomas get a girlfriend? Come on, he must have got a bitch.
I told you that. You knew that.
Well, you must have told me it, but I'm not gonna remember 2 years on, am I? Or however.
Yeah, that would have been episode 8.
But like, was it an actual sex scene though, or was it just like
no, I wasn't gonna do. Hey man,
I would have done.
That's on Halo. That's just weird. I'm sorry,
man. I would have done live acting, done my own sex scenes if you wanted, man. If it would have got the views, I would have done it, man. And then obviously we could utilize the.
And then the video gets taken off for sex
I'm
scenes.
cool with that, man. The controversy, and then we can utilize the zoom in feature on Sony Vegas to boost my ego, stuff like that. put a little bit of sepia tone on that, make me look tanned, whatever.
Right, if you say so. Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
but maybe
sure.
the jury's out on that one. But no,
I'm sure that would have gone very well if we did that.
man, I tell you, the views would have been
positive.
through the roof for the 2 hours it was up before it got taken down. But still, but no. So I'm glad there was a happy end.
Especially if I use this for the thumbnail. That scene.
What? Hold on. Did you link me? Hold on.
What?
Oh, I thought you'd link me to something, man. I thought it was
No.
I thought it was a particular picture you were going to link me to, and I was going to question how the hell you got.
What picture do you think I have on my computer right now?
I am not going to elaborate on that. I was just going to question how you got a particular picture. Because it's like there is no...
What? No, I'm sorry. I don't have your nudes.
Yeah, I was just thinking, how the fuck does he know her, and how does she know him? You know?
So there's a her, is there?
There's a couple, but that's
Is she the one who liked your yes hat?
that liked my yes hat. Who didn't like my yes hat? Come on.
I'm sure that feels a bit more awkward these days.
Well, it actually lost my yes hat on the night of the referendum, so yeah.
You should have known by then.
Yeah, when I think back, that probably was a sign shit was about to hit the fan, man. But such is life. But anyway, so that's the world of Halo. I do miss it. I've actually got some of the clips and some of the stuff probably still on my Bungie Pro or whatever, if that's still going. But that
Good times.
that was a time in our life, man. But you know what? We all go.
I remember the Bungie favorites, and they stopped changing them.
Oh shit!
The same ones from years ago.
There was the Bungie favorites. There was the Bungie. Did they not have that weekly update thing they did?
Yeah.
What was that called? It was had this.
The Bungie weekly update.
That was
and
it.
They'd always try and be all funny with it.
And it was so never funny, man. Like
It was so cheesy, but you couldn't help it. Still like it.
Yeah, you knew the guys that wrote it thought they were absolutely hilarious, man. They probably hadn't been laid at fit.
Their heart was in the right place.
Yeah, I mean it was, and they always had some cool screenshots at the bottom. But you always just wanted them to give you information. Like I wanted the updates to be: here is the tweaks we're making to matchmaking. Here's what's coming out in the next DLC. These maps, blah blah blah. And here's a few jokes, man. But it was always a teaser about a teaser about a fucking Malteser every time, man. And it was just, I don't know, it was like cock teasing, man, and it just wasn't ideal. But
all right. Well, I mean, since we've reached the first hour and we don't want this to go for 2 hours like the last time, we want to skip ahead to GE 2015 and then maybe end it off with a little bit of sports.
We can do whatever you want to do, brother.
All right, sure. So, anyways, before, when we were talking about this earlier, I hope we're not going to get bombarded with a lot of hate for my opinions of a certain political party.
I don't care.
There was a guy who uploaded a video. Actually, I think it was a series where he's gonna give reasons for all the parties. But he came out first with why I'm voting UKIP, and then all his left wing supporters just came out and they're like writing all these whole paragraphs like how they're shaking. How could he support them? Oh no, he should be voting Green.
Well, so. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're offended by someone else's opinion, instead of getting offended by it, create a counter argument. That's what I'd say.
Right. So, anyways, yeah, there's some I hope I don't have a bunch of paragraph long comments about how they're shaking because their favorite YouTuber supports people that they themselves didn't really do much research on and only know what they've been told. So I know one of my friends said jokingly on when we were talking about this, he said, "Yeah, I'll vote UKIP and fuck up the country." And I didn't want to say anything. I just kind of like whatever. But if you read their policies, there's nothing that would drastically do anything wrong. I think they have some good ones too, like no tax on the minimum wage.
Yep.
Build houses on brownfield sites.
Yep.
Like that. There's some good policies there, and yeah, you can't control services if you don't know how many people are going to come in to the country. You can't plan your services properly.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is,
there should be a proper immigration policy there.
Listen, I have kind of come round more to the UKIP way of thinking. Don't get me wrong, I'm still voting SNP. My second party is
if SNP didn't exist,
I would vote Green, and then I would potentially vote between Labour.
You're
Labour
awful.
And UKIP. No, the Greens are not, and my brother.
Is there a difference? What's the difference between the Scottish Greens and the Greens, the English Greens?
Well, one of the main reasons is that the Scottish Green leader Patrick Harvey is phenomenal and enunciates his points properly and does it.
Because I've only heard about the English Greens. And I know they're horrendous.
No, I don't think. I think they get.
In my opinion,
they're pretty horrendous. I think the Greens get a bad rep the way that...
Well, they do it to themselves.
No, but you could say the same about UKIP. Listen, you could say the same about UKIP, and I think, to be fair, Jesse, if you're going to defend UKIP, which I agree with you on, against people making unfounded comments, you should give the Greens the same forum. So what I would say is, there are some things that the Greens, I think, are a little too far-fetched for our current economic situation. But as you said earlier about someone else, I think their hearts are in the right place. I think their economic understanding is a lot better than it was 5-6 years ago. I think they really speak to the youth. And I think the environmental issues, the world, Obama's even talking about it, people are beginning to realise that climate change is a big deal, but they're not a one-policy party, the same way UKIP are not a one-policy party either, and I defend them against that all the time. UKIP are so much more than immigration in the EU, the same way that the Greens are so much more than hippies save the world and give minimum wage 500 million quid an hour. It's so much more than that. So the difference, to answer your question, other than the leaders, I think Natalie Bennett, the English Greens leader, is a lovely woman, but she's quite annoying to listen to, funnily enough, because it's the Australian accent.
I swear, every time she does an interview, something goes wrong. Yeah, that just might be me.
What they should
only seeing a few things, but I swear, she couldn't defend her policies on one of them.
She was dreadful.
She had the fake cough when she didn't know how to answer. She faked the cold.
That was funny though. I couldn't believe she was trying that. I was like, oh, come on, Natalie. And I think the problem...
And in the debates, when she's like yelling, it's my turn to speak. Yeah. What are you doing? You would have got your turn after.
It's a shame because she really does believe in a cause. She's a lovely person, but she is...
It's good that she believes in it. I don't agree with it, but at least she believes in it.
She's not a good speaker and she's not a good leader of the party, and that's one of the main differences between the Scottish Greens. Patrick Harvie is brilliant, and believe me, you'd be listening more to the Green policies or giving them more of a hearing if he was the leader across the board. What the Greens should have done is keep Caroline Lucas, their old leader, as their leader. Understand their logic for having their prominent ex-leader as still a politician, and then they've got the new leader and they've got two kind of voices, but I can understand the logic. It unfortunately hasn't worked because Natalie Bennett's not got the same gravitas as Caroline Lucas, who's a bit of a MILF in her own way, but not quite Leanne Wood level, man, but I would. But
if they really want to do better, they need to get a better leader who actually is good at speaking,
Patrick
and they need to really... Yeah, and they need to really clean up their policies and get rid of the extreme radical stuff.
What is radical about Green? And bear in mind, I'm not voting for them, but what is a Green?
They don't want an immigration policy. They want anyone to be able to come in. Okay. They want free money for everybody, no matter how much that costs. They think it should be legal to join terrorist organizations.
Oh, come on with that one.
They want less prison sentences for women. They want them to get less time for doing the same crime.
What? Really?
You didn't. That's a big one that people have been talking about.
Send me a link to that. I'll
have to find it. People have asked them about that on
nutty. Interview. That is nutty because as someone that has campaigned for women's...
Green sexist policy. Also, they don't agree with nuclear, which is a very good renewable source. They don't want it. They'd rather have wind farms, which you have to build on green sites. And if they want their unlimited immigration policy, you don't turn anyone away. They're gonna have to build on the landscape to build more houses to be able to afford it all.
See, when you put it like that, I mean, some of the ones, for example, what was the one you said there? My memory's clearly failing me, man. It's years of drug use catching up to me. What was the one you said? And I says, no, I disagree. Like literally about a minute back.
What, the one you said you disagree? I said they're what was it?
Shit,
terrorist organizations.
Yeah,
if they want to join. They want to make it legal to join terrorist organizations.
Okay. That one was kind of taken. That's contextually I mean, I understood what they were saying with that, but I just think they shouldn't have said it. Is my opinion on that. The one with the women said.
There's also the fact that they want to put more spending towards everything without knowing where to get the money from.
No, but that's what I was going to say. Their manifesto is not fully costed. I would argue that SM...
Well, you know who is fully costed?
UKIP and SNP. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're cool on that one.
But I was going to say that earlier. You mentioned something about something being fully costed. I was going to say, you know what else is fully costed?
UKIP's manifesto.
I didn't want to change the topic because you're talking about something.
No, it's all good. You do that enough anyway, but thank you. No, but listen, but yeah, UKIP's is fully costed. Listen, the Greens, their grasp of economic policy has improved, but it still has a long way to go. Too much of it is kind of pie in the sky. I think they're right on environmental issues. I disagree with them on immigration. I disagree with, as someone, as I was going to say earlier, as someone that's campaigned for women's rights, I think equality is absolutely essential, but not once it starts going the other way and some people are more equal than others.
Exactly. That tends to, I think that's what I see a lot of the time, that people,
they're
unwillingly doing that. Like, they're, you can want equality, but they want to do it at the expense of separating everyone, making them into groups.
Yes.
And those specific groups have to have a certain way rather than treating everyone as the same with the same rights. And I think that's the better way to go. Meritocracy.
Absolutely. No, I'm so...
Shouldn't matter who you are, should matter what you can do. Whereas the other way, it ends up being who you are means you should
get advantages,
be forced to do something over someone else.
Listen, fucking here, I'm so with you on that, man. I mean, this is the point I was making to a mate of mine yesterday. Admittedly, we were blazed, so he isn't in the his best state of mind, but he is.
I'm still looking for that policy.
Keep looking, bro.
I ended up on Reddit,
well,
so
as you do, it tends to happen, right? You keep looking. I'll say what I was going to say. I was speaking to my mate, shout out Angus King, the man himself. I was speaking to him yesterday, and the point I was trying to make, and I was saying it's a very basic point. It shouldn't matter whether, I mean, this is coming off a bit Michael Jackson here, but it shouldn't matter if you're black, white, male, female, gay, straight, transsexual, whatever the fuck you are, you get the exact same chance at birth. You get the same choices. It's based on, as Jesse said, based on what you can do and not who you are. But at the same time, it shouldn't be positive discrimination. You shouldn't be chosen for a role just because you're a woman. You shouldn't be chosen for a role because you're not a woman. And it's the same way. You shouldn't be given, you should never be turned away from a job because you're black. That's disgusting. But likewise, if the white candidate, guy who happens to be white is better than the guy who happens to be black, you don't choose the black guy just because you've got a certain quota of black people to fill in. Same with...
I disagree with quotas completely.
Yeah, quotas are nonsense, man.
And one of our political parties, I heard, was doing that. The equivalent to Labour, the NDP. Apparently they do that with their candidate choosing. They choose the minorities over anyone else, despite what skills they may have.
I mean, so it's easy to say that for us, though. I mean, the thing is, we don't know what the... Unless it is public, right? Obviously, you know your politics better than me, but... Unless it is in the public domain, it could have genuinely been chosen because he's the best candidate and he just happened to be marginally darker. You know what I mean?
No, I don't think it was because of someone actually if it had been practiced. I think it came out that that's what they were their plan was. That's what they were going to do for choosing candidates in general. Where if there's a bunch of white men running for the candidate for a seat and a minority comes in, they'll choose them first.
I mean, you can see the logic because it's kind of it's a counterbalance to.
But they're all people. They're all individuals.
No, listen, I totally agree with you. Believe me,
they should all get a chance.
We're on the exact same side of that, bro. But the thing is, at the moment, I think we will find the balance on this with years of systematic racism and sexism and homophobia. I think right now the pendulum had to swing back, and it's probably going to swing too far the other way for a bit. But I think it will go back to the centre a lot faster than it took us to get there at first, if you get me. So I think it's going to maybe go the other way, people just being chosen simply because they are gay, they are black, they are female, but that's kind of a reaction to the fact these groups were marginalised for so long and treated as groups as opposed to human beings. Eventually, I think, once the world is a lot more equal, 10 years from now or whatever, and I think we are getting there, eventually we will reach a middle ground, mostly across the board, where regardless of colour, creed, whatever, you're chosen because you're the best one for the job. But right now, you can understand it simply because if a company's never hired a black guy and the black guy that's applied for the job is a 75 out of 100 skill and the white guy's an 80 out of 100 and it's a real marginal difference, they'll probably choose the black guy because they've never had a black guy before. So once all of that is out the way, company per company, it'll probably find itself back towards the centre. That's my hope. Maybe I'm going a bit Russell Brand and just hoping that everything will find its way to its natural conclusion. But
well, I mean, in the modern day today, it doesn't matter if you were marginalized in the past, because modern day everyone's got the same rights, everyone's got the same opportunities. Well, so I don't think it should matter as much. You can say, well, historically there's an issue here, but the fact is they can go in and they can succeed now. But that shouldn't be used as an argument.
But it's not like racism has been eradicated. You've only got to look at America and see that.
Well, no, but it's also not only one way. It comes from everybody towards everybody.
I agree, and I think white, black on white racism is treated less seriously. Obviously, as a white guy, I don't get offended by being called a crack or whatever. I don't really get offended at anything. I think it's a waste of time, and I know you're kind of similar, but the fact is that black people have been so systematically racially profiled for so long. It's kind of...
Well, in the U.S.
Yes. I mean...
Longer than anyone, because in the British Empire, they were the first ones to realize they were wrong, so they went and they abolished the slave trade before anyone else. First time in history someone tried to do that, and they went in and forced it on other countries and rescued slaves and brought them over to their areas where they.
Well, I mean, you're glamorizing our involvement a wee bit.
Maybe
man.
a little bit, but it is true. They did come over from the U.S. to Canada. They settled them in Nova Scotia. If they were so horribly racist and wanted to marginalize them completely, why would they do that?
No, but
and then if some of them stayed in Nova Scotia, some of them, because it wasn't exactly easy, and then some of them took the choice to go to Sierra Leone, where they were able to establish themselves.
Yeah, but listen, I don't disagree with that, and I think we've came a long way as
and there was a policy in England. Any slave that touches English soil in England was automatically freed because England is too pure for slaves.
I mean, I've got nothing.
That was the policy. It was established in like 1100 by William the Conqueror.
Well, good old William then, big wazzo. Shout out to William the Conqueror, man, nigga. But I mean, truthfully, like. I mean, we've come a long way as you're noticing, but I think to act like it's a tough area because to me, like when I'm like it's the old excuse. I know black people, so I'm not racist. Listen, I've got quite a lot of black mates, Pakistani mates, quite a lot of white mates. Just a very popular guy, you know. But like, you know what I mean? I've got people from all over the place, and we're all just kind of casually racist, inverted commas, to each other.
Obviously, it's not perfect in the modern day, but it's not nearly as bad as some people would like to claim it is.
Yes, and I agree, but it's a balance with everything, and I don't understand why people still get offended. I do within other cultures, but at least it's difficult because my viewpoint gets ruined by people that are genuinely racist. Like, for example, like when I'm dicking about with my no homo, dicking about with Pakistani mates or whatever, and I'm just like, oh, fucking pass that here, you packy bastard. Listen, white boy, this and that, and we're just fucking about. And that's cool, you know what I mean? Because there's a difference in doing it with your mates. I wouldn't go up and say that to a random guy in the street who I didn't know his personality. But the problem is, I just don't understand how from my point of view, how white people, Pakistani people, black people, whatever the fuck you're from, get offended by anything. But then I forget that I'm not really having to deal with it. You know, if you were a Pakistani or a black guy walking down the street.
Well, I mean, if you moved to Africa, or if you moved to China, or if you moved to Korea or Japan, you would, because they.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like because some white guy could be walking by.
Like Japan is famous for its treatment of minorities.
Yeah. I'm not saying they actually get, like, I don't understand the mindset of someone that would actually go out the way and non-jokingly, like, seriously send someone abuse because they're a different colour. I mean, me and my mate Dizzy were looking in the mirror once, we were high at our face, and we were actually, like, crying and laughter at how funny it is that, like, we're both different colours. Like, see, when you think about it, like, we're actually different colours. It's really fucking weird, man. Like, he's brown and I'm white, like, why though? You know, like, we're actual different colours. So I'm eating a cookie here, man, so I'm all over the place, but like, I don't know, we just found that absolutely hilarious. So, I mean, it made us realise how stupid in that moment, a wee moment of clarity, how fucking stupid race wars are when the real issues have to be dealt with outside.
Maybe that's by design. Maybe if you focus on the race war, you don't see the actual issues going on.
There you go. I think the old cliche, but people need to wake up a little bit and stop fighting each other when they're in the same fucking pay bracket. But there we go. But anyway, talking about the GE, I'll be voting SNP. I think it will be a Labour minority government or Labour with SNP propping them up, hopefully, which will not be the coalition of chaos or you know, we're not losing the.
I don't know. We'll have to see since that'd be a first in history.
Yeah, but that's what we need. We need something new. The SNP are slightly centre left. Labour are slightly centre right. It would work. I think going from Conservatives to Green would be too much of a change. I'd like UKIP to get a few MPs and mix it up a little bit.
I think my estimate is that they'll get about 20.
But I don't think it'll be that high. I'm nowhere near. What we were saying earlier on.
With a lot of second places.
Hold on, let me finish this bloody cookie, man, because it's making it difficult for me to speak.
What are you doing? You're so unprofessional.
It's oatmeal, though. Oh my god, oatmeal and raisin, man. It's the way forward. Sainsbury's. Shout out Johnny Sainsbury's. Listen, what I got to say is this. The problem is, I think we were talking about this earlier off camera, off mic, is that the first past the post system that we have here, which basically benefits the main two parties, because it's basically whoever gets the most amount of seats. So just to explain this, right? So, say there's three parties, the Jesse party, the KG party, and the Best party, the Ziggy B party.
Yeah.
We're running in a constituency. So, Jesse gets 1 vote, KG gets 27,000 and I get 33,000. So I win this.
That one vote, myself.
Exactly. Well, you can't vote for yourself, so just assume your mother's voting. So
can you actually not vote for yourself?
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I mean, morally, you shouldn't, but yeah, I would do.
Because I know the like leaders vote and stuff, and candidates vote.
I totally vote for myself, man. But I'm just putting up red tape to make it difficult for you here. But so I get 33,000. So
okay, I got 2 votes. So okay.
Right, okay. So if we
else.
want to be pedantic, you can have 5,000 votes if you want, right? Just shut up. No, I'm joking. So I get 33,000, right? So I win clearly because I was always going to win. It's a popularity contest. So 33,000, and in this system, I win the seat. My party, the Ziggy B party, wins this seat. KG's 27,000 votes and Jesse's 5,000 votes pretty much count for nothing because they didn't win the seat. The seat's been won, those votes are not discarded, they have official statistics, but they don't count for anything. Whereas in a proportional representation system, those votes, yes, I would have, within that system, those 33,000 votes for me, 27,000 for KG, and the 5,000 for Jesse, it would probably be a lot higher, but the 5,000 for Jesse would all be counted towards the party's overall total across the country. They're all added up, and then they're broken down, and, you know, basically the more votes you get, the more seats you get, and it's all a lot fairer, leads to more coalitions, but that leads to more work between the parties.
In terms of voting systems, I actually like the way the EU does it in their elections, like how they have big constituencies.
Unelected.
No, not them. I meant the
Barroso, Tim Barroso, again that.
Yeah, but I mean the actual like official parliament, not the actual people.
I know
Obviously,
what you
they're not elected, but they can. And but the parliament's essentially useless. You're just voting on what other people are telling you to vote for.
Yeah.
But the way they actually do the elections, where they have big constituencies, and based on the population, they'll have more potential seats, and based on the percentage someone gets of the vote, they get the percentage of that amount of those seats.
Yes.
So I think that'd be a good way. Slightly bigger constituencies, but multiple seats within them, and you can divide them up based on the vote.
I don't mind the EU system at that stage, but then, I mean, as Mr. Farage says himself, once it gets past that stage, it's pretty much in the hands of about 12 people, so...
Pretty much. It's the illusion of democracy.
Yes, exactly, as we're aware. And I wasn't really up to date on my European politics until semi-recently. My brother made sure, as a UKIP diehard, they made sure I watched all the Farage things, and I was actually... Much I hate to admit it, I was very, very impressed with him as an orator and how less extreme his policies actually are to the way they're conveyed. So I was actually quite impressed. I still wouldn't vote for them, but I'm open to voting for them, and that kind of in the future if it works out that way, especially if my brother stands. And that brings us full circle to what you were saying about how you think UKIP would get 20 seats, and I was disagreeing because of the systems we were discussing. I think in a first past the post system, UKIP, as you said, will get a lot of second places, maybe quite a lot of thirds. I think they will be lucky to get double figures. I think they'll probably get about 7 or 8 seats. It's the same system that will screw the Greens. I think the Greens in an ideal world would get about 15 seats. I think they'll be lucky to get a second or a third seat. And I think UKIP, who should be getting about 25-30 seats, will be lucky to get 10. And it benefits Labour and Conservative, and it screws the Lib Dems as well, as we know. So I think the system needs change. We tried to do it. The Tories fucked it because they had media backing and they botched the whole thing, and we wouldn't have. I'm totally going into a tangent of a tangent, but but basically,
again, like the beginning,
it's what I'm good at, man. I'm sorry, listeners, man. I really don't have a coherent train of thought within the...
I was just sitting here zoning out as you were talking about nonsense, nothingness.
Well, that nonsense was actually a direct response to your question, so don't ask the question if you don't want the answer.
Well, I'm sorry.
Well, you should be. You should be, but then again, sometimes there's just no getting through to a UKIP fascist like you, so...
Well, I can't get through the Gestapo either, so...
I was not a member of the Gestapo. I was...
Well, of course, you told everyone who's voting no to unfollow you on Twitter.
I didn't, but I should have.
No, you did. You did do that. I saw it.
That never happened. I'll need to check in with my PR firm and see if I said that or not. No, but I actually do remember saying that, to be honest. No, I mean, honestly, that was just when tensions were at their all-time high, but I was not going round and on no-voter posts and arguing my points. I was reading no voting points because you can't just put yourself in a bubble. You need to read the points of both sides, but I wasn't engaging in the arguments because I knew my arguments, I knew my vote wasn't going to be changed, and I knew when someone else's vote was not going to be changed. But yeah, I did post that because tensions were hella high, and some of the shit I was having to read from the no side was very, very frustrating. So, yes.
I'm sure they felt the same way about you.
No doubt, no doubt. But yeah, so long story short, I don't think UKIP will do as well as you projected. I'm sorry to say, and sorry for my brother as well.
I think they'll surprise people. I think people are, what's the word? Faltering with my words here. I think people are underestimating them.
Yeah, I mean, to a point, they always have underestimated.
Especially with the polls so crazy. They're polling from a range of 10 to 18. It's always somewhere in between there, always different every poll.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. I want Farage to get his seat, obviously, because I think he's an absolute right.
Well, even that one, as I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, it fluctuated.
From losing it to being super ahead to losing it to being ahead.
I think the one where he was 9 behind was marginally fabricated, though, but it has fluctuated somewhat. But I'd like him to get his seat simply because, regardless of what you think about UKIP, he's certainly not a boring politician. And I think you.
And as I said earlier, do your independent research. If you're one of the people who automatically thinks they're the worst thing to ever exist, and anyone who supports them is a horrible person, I think you should do some independent research. Actually read their manifesto, read their policies. I think a lot of your opinions on them will change.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that in theory.
Like, you might not agree with them, but you won't see them as the pure evil.
Yeah, and they're
that some people thought they were before.
They're really not. The closest party to pure evil is, I can't speak for Canada, but within Britain, it really is the Conservatives. They say, listen, they say they're a party of aspiration. You and me both, Jesse, we're both very aspirational people, whether it's through media or business or whatever. We both want to do well, provide, be more than a cog in the machine. We are very aspirational people. I know many people that are very aspirational people, university or already making money from the business around me. None of them support Conservative. The reason for that is they don't support small business. And for a small business to become a large business, it needs to be not only a lot of sweat equity and hard work, but it needs to be supported by the state to a point, and there's too much red tape. Conservatives are not the party of aspiration, they are the party of the super elite. So unless you're a millionaire...
He's speaking from the British perspective. Canadian perspective, I will support the Conservatives since we don't have a UKIP alternative at the moment. We used to, but then they ended up merging with the old Conservative Party to form the current one.
Yeah, see, that's one of my problems with UKIP, though, is that they would go into coalition with the Conservatives. And
no, they've said they're not going to do that.
Have they, though? Definitely?
They've explicitly said they're not going into coalition with anyone, but they will support
on a
certain
vote
parties
by vote,
depending on if they get what they want.
Well, I think we need more of that within politics as a whole. Like, not everyone's going to agree with everyone.
So there, you just learned something new about them.
Well, I'm always willing to be educated, but I think...
Unfortunately, I gave up looking for that green policy, but I have seen it a lot of times, so you might want to look at that too if you get a chance later.
I am going to look at it because I'm not going to trust your Canadian propaganda designed to indoctrinate the British people, but I will have a look into it.
Yep.
No, but...
I'm orchestrating everything from over here.
Yeah, well, I always thought you looked a bit...
I'm the puppet master.
You've got a bit of the Chancellor Palpatine about you, I'm not going to lie. But no, I think more parties across the spectrum, whether we look at the old, outdated left and right system, they need to collaborate more. So, I don't know about you, Jesse, but I'm thinking it's time we probably wrap this up.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. It's shorter than the last one, so I guess we made some progress there.
And I am sorry, we have unconsciously ended up speaking about politics for 3/4 of the time again. We had other things to discuss, but we are conscious of the time limit.
Well, there's always the next show for that.
And we will not make you wait as long as from September to however many months it was. But yeah, I mean, we always tend to be doing them around the time of big political events. When it's a more regular thing, that won't always be.
And I'd just like to remind everyone, if you're from the UK, to make sure you're registered to vote and have fun on May the 7th.
Yes, best of luck to everyone of all political parties. Make sure to subscribe to...
And best of luck to everyone in Canada for October.
No one cares about Canada, and that includes Canadians.
Everyone does.
Make sure to subscribe to Darkness Kirby's channel. That will be the channel this is on. And
be sure to subscribe to Ziggy's channel, youtube.com/blacktrident.
Yes, sir. New videos finally coming for the first time in 4 years, very, very shortly. Thank you very much for listening, and we will see you on the next show.
Take it easy, everyone, and goodbye.